Peace. And we're gonna read today. Should be like 10 minutes. A couple of short stories from Zen 101 Zen Stories. Hold on, get my camera. Let's get into it. Gonna have deeper meanings, right? Zen meaning peace, serenity. Let's begin. A cup of tea. Nanin, a Japanese master during the Meiji era, received a university professor who came to inquire about Zen. Nanin served tea. He poured his visitor's cup full and then kept on pouring. The professor watched the overflow until he no longer could restrain himself. He says, "It is overflow. No more will go in." "Like this cup," Nani said. "You are full of your own opinions and speculations and fears and assumptions and distractions. How can I show you Zen unless you first empty your cup?" Is that so? Second story. We're gonna do a 5 or 6. The Zen Hakuin was praised by his neighbors as one living a pure life. The Zen master. A beautiful Japanese girl whose parents owned a food store near him. Suddenly, without any warning, her parents discovered she was with child. She was pregnant. This made her parents very angry. She would not confess who the man was, but after much harassment, at last she named her queen. In great anger, the parents went to the master. "Is that so?" was all he would say. After the child was born, it was brought to Hakim. By this time, he had lost his reputation, which did not trouble him, but he took very good care of the child. He obtained milk from his neighbors and everything else the little one needed. A year later, the girl's mother could stand it no longer. She told her parents the truth, that the real father of the child was a young man who worked in the fish market. The mother and the father of the girl at once went to Hakim and asked his forgiveness to apologize at length and to get the child back. Hakim was willing, and yielding the child, all he said was, "Is that so?" He's a Zen master. Obedience. The master Bankai talks were attended not only by Zen students but by persons of all ranks and sects. He never quoted sutras nor indulged in scholastic dissertations. Instead, his words were spoken directly from his heart to the hearts of his listeners. And his large audiences angered the priests of the Nichiren sect because the adherents had left to hear about Zen. Zen ain't even got no book. He just been teaching from the heart. The self-centered Nichiren priests came to the temple determined to debate with Bankai. "Hey, Zen teacher," he calls out. "Wait a minute. Whoever respects you will obey what you say. But a man like myself does not respect you. Can you make me obey you?" "Come up beside me and I will show you," said Bankai. Proudly, the priest pushed his way through the crowd to the teacher. Guy's smile come to my left side. The priest obeyed. No, said Bakai. We may talk better if you are on the right side. Step over here. The priest proudly stepped over to the right. You see, observed Bakai, you are obeying me, and I think you are a very gentle person. Now sit down and listen. Obedience. Sleight of hand. The moon cannot be stolen. Ryokan, a Zen master, lived the simplest kind of life in a little hut at the foot of a mountain. One evening, a thief visited the hut only to discover there is nothing in it to steal. Ryokan returned and caught him. You may have come a long way to visit me, he told the prowler, and you should not return empty-handed. Please take my clothes as a gift. The thief was bewildered. He took the clothes and slunk away. Ryokan sat naked, watching the moon. Poor fellow, he mused. I wish I could give him this beautiful moon. And that's being a Zen master. He realized the beauty of the moon that no one could have in possession. Is more desirable than the clothes or the things that we got at hand, right? Zen. Mighty Road. Tarzan and Aikido were once traveling together down a mighty road. A heavy rain was still falling. Coming around Bane, they met a lovely girl in a silk kimono and sash, unable to cross the intersection. Come on, girl, said Tarzan at once, lifting her in his arms. He carried her over the mud. Aikido did not speak again until that night when he reached a lodging temple. There he no longer could restrain himself. He says, we monks don't go near females. He told Tarzan, especially not young and lovely ones. It is dangerous. Why did you do that? I left the girl there, said Tarzan. Are you still carrying her? And again, mental. he take away his monk title, knowing that it's just a title. And that's what he had to do at that time. But the other monk still carried her in imagination. So he violated the so-called monkship more than Tarzan did with that one act, right? It's all metaphysical. Not far from Buddhahood, a university student while visiting Ghazan asked him, have you ever read the Christian Bible? No, read it to me, said Ghazan. The student opened the Bible and read from St. Matthew. And why take you ye through for a remnant? Consider the lilies of the field, how they grow. They toil not, neither do they spin. And yet I say unto you that even Solomon in all his glory were not arrayed like one of these. Take therefore not thought for tomorrow, for the tomorrow shall take thought for the things of itself. Ghazan said, whoever uttered those words I consider an enlightened man. The student continued reading. Ask and it shall be given you. Seek and you shall find. Knock and it shall be opened unto you. For everyone that asketh receiveth, and he that seeketh findeth, and to him that knocketh it shall be opened. Ghazan remarked, that is excellent. Whoever said that is not far from Buddhahood. The voice of happiness. After Bakai had passed away, a blind man who lived near the master's temple told a friend, since I am blind, I cannot watch a person's face, so I must judge his character by the sound of his voice. Ordinarily, when I hear someone congratulate another upon his happiness or success, I also hear a secret tone of envy. When condolences is expressed for the misfortune of another, I hear pleasure and satisfaction, as if the one condoling was really glad there was something left to gain in his own world. In all my experience, however, Benkai's voice was always sincere. Whenever he expressed happiness, I heard nothing but happiness. And whenever he expressed sorrow, sorrow was all I heard. And that's to say all our senses is come from a place of sincerity out of the heart. And being blind, he been able to heighten his sense of hearing. So he could hear the sincerity and congratulations and condolences, which is a mental ability you can gain by heightening your senses, which is consciousness. And you'll be able to see that too. You'll hear it because you'll be using hearing, right? And Picard been sincere to him. But you can see how sincerity can be heard, regardless of the words used. Calling card, this is the last one for today. Kichu, the great Zen teacher of the Meiji era, was the head of Tofuku, a cathedral in Kyoto. One day, the governor of Kyoto called upon him for the first time. His attendant presented the card of the governor, which read, Kitagaki, governor of Kyoto. I have no business with such a fellow, said Kiichu and to his attendant. Tell him to get out of here. The attendant carried the card back with apologies. That was my error, said the governor, and with the pencil he scratched out the words, Governor of Kyoto. Ask your teacher again. Oh, is that Kitagaki? Exclaimed the teacher when he saw the card. I want to see that fellow. Again, Kishu, he don't deal with these titles, these modern titles as we see today. He look beyond those, and you look for the person and not the title. And that's enough for today. Simple, short stories. Zen 101. 101 stories. Peace. Till next time.